Right now, over 65 million Americans are suffering from chronic back pain, and the majority of them are stuck in the same exhausting cycle. Painkillers that damage their organs, injections that wear off after a few weeks, and surgeries that often make things worse. But here is what almost nobody is talking about. One of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds ever studied by science is not a supplement. It is not a prescription. It is not an expensive treatment. It is garlic. One single clove of garlic eaten the right way at the right time of day contains a compound called allicin that directly blocks the same inflammatory pathways that your most powerful pain medications target, but without a single side effect. And for back pain specifically, the research is remarkable. Seniors who consume garlic regularly have significantly lower levels of the exact inflammatory markers that cause chronic spinal inflammation, disc pressure, and nerve root irritation. You have had the answer sitting in your kitchen your entire life. Today I am going to show you exactly how to use it. My name is Dr. Michael Kent, and I have been treating seniors with chronic back pain, spinal conditions, and nerve inflammation for over 22 years. In that time, I have seen thousands of patients who were completely desperate. A missing food, one specific ingredient that their body was being deprived of, and that their back pain was getting dramatically worse because of it. Today, I am going to share everything I know about this ingredient, why it works, how it heals your spine at the cellular level, and exactly how to use it starting tomorrow morning. But first, I need you to understand something important about chronic back pain that most doctors never explain. Back pain is not just a mechanical problem. It is not just a bone problem or a disc problem. At its core, chronic back pain is an inflammatory problem. When inflammation gets into your spinal muscles, your spinal joints, your intervertebral discs, and your nerve roots, it creates a constant state of irritation and pressure that your body simply cannot escape. Your muscles tighten around the inflamed area trying to protect it, which creates more pressure. That pressure irritates the nerves, which creates more pain signals. Those pain signals cause more muscle tension, which causes more inflammation. It is a vicious cycle that feeds itself every single day. And the only way to truly break that cycle is not to mask the pain from the outside with medications. It is to reduce the inflammation from the inside. That is exactly what garlic does. If you are finding this helpful already, please hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment below telling me your age and your city. I want to know how many people across America are waking up every morning with back pain that nobody has been able to fix. I read every single comment, and your story truly matters to me. Now let me tell you about a patient of mine named Atish. He was 71 years old, a retired engineer from Arizona, one of the most analytical and detail-oriented men I have ever treated. He had been dealing with chronic lower back pain for almost 5 years. And because of his engineering background, he had researched everything. He had read studies. He had tried every supplement on the market. He had seen 4 different specialists. Nothing had given him lasting relief. By the time he came to my clinic, he was taking 3 different medications just to get through his day. And even then, the pain was still a 6 or 7 out of 10 every single morning. He told me he had not slept through the night without waking up from back pain in over 2 years. He told me he had stopped playing golf, something he had done every single weekend for 30 years, because he simply could not stand long enough to finish a round. He was not just in physical pain. He was grieving the life that the pain had taken away from him. When Atish sat down with me, I did not start with his spine. I started with his kitchen. I asked him what he ate every day, and within minutes I found exactly what I was looking for. Atish was eating an almost completely garlic-free diet. He had never liked the taste and had avoided it his entire life. And I told him, Atish, that might be one of the most significant things contributing to your ongoing back inflammation. He looked at me with complete skepticism. He said, garlic? You are telling me garlic is going to fix what 4 specialists could not. And I said, I am telling you that garlic contains something that those 4 specialists never once addressed. And I want you to try it for just 3 weeks before you make your judgment. Atish was a scientist at heart. He appreciated the logic. He agreed to try it. I gave him a very specific protocol: 1 to 2 raw crushed garlic cloves every single morning on an empty stomach, followed by a small amount of food. I explained to him exactly why raw and crushed was critical, because the allicin compound in garlic is only activated when the cell walls are broken. Whole garlic cloves or garlic powder do not release allicin in significant amounts. It has to be crushed or finely chopped and then allowed to sit for 10 minutes before consuming. This resting period allows the enzyme reaction that produces allicin to complete fully. Atish followed the protocol precisely. Because of course he did, he was an engineer. On day 16, he sent a message to my office. He said, "Dr. Kent, I need you to explain to me scientifically what is happening because something is clearly changing." He said his morning stiffness had reduced dramatically. He said he had woken up 2 nights in a row without back pain waking him from sleep. He said he had gone for a 30-minute walk the previous evening, something he had not done in months. By the end of 3 weeks, Atish told me his pain had dropped from a consistent 6 or 7 down to a 2 or 3. And at his 6-week follow-up, he walked into my office and said, "I played 9 holes last Saturday." He was not crying. He was too composed for that. But his eyes said everything. That is what garlic did for Atish. And it can do the same for you. So let us go deep into the science because you deserve to understand exactly why this works. Garlic contains over 200 biologically active compounds, but the most important one for back pain is allicin, technically known as allyl-2-propanethiosulfonate. When you crush or chop a raw garlic clove, an enzyme called alliinase immediately begins converting a compound called alliin into allicin. This conversion happens rapidly and produces a compound that is one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatory agents ever identified. Allicin works by inhibiting the activity of 2 key inflammatory enzymes, cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase. These are the exact same enzymes that ibuprofen and other NSAIDs target. But unlike ibuprofen, which blocks these enzymes systemically and causes stomach lining damage, kidney stress, and cardiovascular risk with long-term use, allicin does this work selectively and without those dangerous side effects. For back pain, specifically, allicin targets 3 critical areas. First, it reduces prostaglandin production in your spinal tissues. Prostaglandins are inflammatory signaling molecules that cause the swelling, heat, and pain sensation in your back muscles and spinal joints. When allicin reduces prostaglandin levels in those tissues, the physical sensation of pain begins to decrease. Second, allicin inhibits the production of tumor necrosis factor alpha, commonly called TNF-alpha, which is one of the primary inflammatory cytokines responsible for chronic spinal inflammation. Elevated TNF-alpha is found in almost every case of chronic back pain and is directly linked to disc degeneration, facet joint inflammation, and nerve root irritation. Reducing TNF-alpha is one of the most important things you can do for long-term back pain relief. Third, allicin improves microcirculation, meaning it enhances blood flow to the tiny blood vessels that supply your spinal discs and vertebral joints. Your spinal discs are avascular. They have no direct blood supply of their own and rely entirely on diffusion from surrounding tissues to receive nutrients and oxygen. When circulation improves, those discs receive better nourishment, and their ability to maintain hydration and cushioning capacity improves significantly. Beyond allicin, garlic also contains significant amounts of diallyl disulfide and diallyl trisulfide, 2 additional sulfur compounds that have been shown in research to reduce the activity of inflammatory genes in spinal tissue. They also contain quercetin, which is a powerful antioxidant flavonoid that reduces oxidative stress in nerve tissue and supports the health of the myelin sheath surrounding your spinal nerve roots. And garlic is one of the richest food sources of selenium, a mineral that plays a critical role in your body's antioxidant defense system and that most seniors with chronic inflammation are significantly deficient in. Now I want to give you the exact protocol that I use with my patients because how you prepare and consume garlic makes an enormous difference in how much allicin you actually absorb. Take 1 to 2 fresh garlic cloves. Peel them completely. Then crush them firmly with the flat side of a knife or use a garlic press. This is the critical step. Crushing breaks the cell walls and activates the alliinase enzyme. After crushing, let the garlic sit uncovered on your cutting board for exactly 10 minutes. Do not skip this step. The 10-minute rest period is when the allicin is actually being produced. If you cook the garlic immediately after crushing, you destroy the enzyme before it can complete the conversion. After the 10-minute rest, you can consume the garlic raw, which gives you maximum allicin, or you can add it very briefly to warm food. Raw is always more powerful. If the taste is too strong for you on its own, you can mix the crushed garlic into a small amount of olive oil. spread it on a piece of whole grain toast, or mix it into a teaspoon of raw honey, which also has its own anti-inflammatory properties. Do this every single morning on an empty stomach or with a very light meal. The reason morning is optimal is that your inflammatory markers are naturally highest in the early morning hours. This is why back pain and stiffness are almost always worst right after waking up. Getting allicin into your system first thing in the morning means it is working at exactly the time your inflammation is peaking. I also want to mention that garlic works even more powerfully when combined with two other kitchen ingredients. The first is turmeric. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, works on a completely different inflammatory pathway than allicin, meaning together they provide a two-pronged attack on spinal inflammation that is significantly more powerful than either one alone. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric to warm water or golden milk every morning alongside your garlic, and you will amplify the anti-inflammatory effect considerably. The second is black pepper. Piperine, the active compound in black pepper, increases the bioavailability of curcumin by up to 2,000%. Just a small pinch of black pepper added to your turmeric makes it dramatically more effective. Together, garlic, turmeric, and black pepper form one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory combinations available to you, and all three are sitting in your kitchen right now. Give this protocol 3 honest weeks. 1 to 2 crushed raw garlic cloves every morning, allowed to rest for 10 minutes before consuming, paired with turmeric and black pepper, consistent every single day. I have seen this combination reduce chronic back pain in seniors who had been suffering for years. Not in every case and not overnight, but in a meaningful, life-changing way that no painkiller ever provided, because it is actually addressing the root cause instead of just masking the signal. You do not have to keep waking up every morning dreading the moment your feet hit the floor. You do not have to keep canceling plans and limiting your life because of back pain that never lets up. Your body has the ability to reduce this inflammation. Your spine has the ability to heal. And sometimes the most powerful first step is the simplest one. 1 crushed clove of garlic sitting on your cutting board for 10 minutes every single morning. If this video helped you today, please share it with someone you love who is suffering from chronic back pain, because this information could genuinely give them their mornings back. And right now, drop a comment below and tell me your age and your city, and let me know how long you have been dealing with back pain. I read every single comment. And if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button right now, because next week I am going to reveal the one mineral that directly repairs the spinal discs that are compressing your nerves and causing your back pain to keep coming back. And you absolutely cannot afford to miss that. Your back wants to heal. Your body wants to move freely again. And now you have exactly what you need to start. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.